Do you remember the mirror I told you about, the one before, which the Arab mind stands, seeing multiple shattered reflections, each claiming to be the original? When I closed that mirror at the end of the first tale, I was not ending the story, but opening its true first chapter. I began to wonder, how can we judge a mind without humiliating it, but rather restoring it to life? How can we build a new mind, not from nothing, but rooted in what came before, without falling into sterile repetition? In a rare moment of mental clarity, I discovered a crucial distinction between the constituting mind and the constituted mind. At first, it seemed paradoxical. Aren't we speaking of one single mind? But the constituting mind is the universal, innate faculty within all humans. It analyzes, synthesizes, questions, creates unbound by culture, belief, or power. The constituted mind, on the other hand, is shaped by history, politics, religion, and culture. It is the product of the interaction between innate reason and its environment. The mind we examined in the previous tale, born under the Abbasid state, influenced by Greek philosophy, clashing with jurisprudence, theology, and mysticism, was not a pure mind, but a constituted one. It was shaped within specific historical contexts and dominated by doctrinal, textual, or state authority. Thus, the crisis of the Arab mind lies not in human nature, but in the historical conditions that shaped it. The flaw is not in mental capacity, but in what has been produced. We must not critique the natural mind, but what it became under the weight of tradition, doctrine, and conflict. From this, I no longer saw the Arab mind as a fixed essence, but as a historical entity, always changing. I traced its roots to the 2nd and 3rd Islamic centuries, the age of codification, when hadiths were compiled, jurisprudence was systematized, grammar established, and speculative theology constructed. This era was not merely one of documentation, but of defining boundaries and symbolic authority. Since then, the mind stopped creating freely and instead restructured inherited knowledge under strict rules and closed theological references. The Arab mind became a constituted mind, subject to three forces: the authority of the state, the reference of religion, and the dominance of tradition. Within these constraints, it revolved justifying, interpreting, legitimizing, but rarely creating. This distinction is essential. Critique must target what the mind has produced under cultural pressures, not reason itself. That's why no intellectual reform is possible without a radical critique of the constituted mind. We cannot reform jurisprudence without revisiting its theological foundations, nor revive philosophy without dismantling the rhetorical culture that rejects demonstrative reasoning and sanctifies the text alone. Arab culture is not a mosaic of isolated knowledges, but a network of intertwined systems that monitor and judge one another. As long as the constituted mind is trapped in this network, every renewal will fail. Thus, liberation begins by distinguishing between a mind that creates and a mind that is produced. We need the constituting mind to rebuild, and we must critique, deconstruct, and reconstruct the constituted mind through a vision that embraces the past without freezing in it and opens to the present without melting into it. Now is the time to proceed. From this precise understanding, we shall enter the three cities inhabited by the constituted Arab mind: the city of rhetoric, the city of gnosis, and the city of demonstrative reasoning. But before we begin, remember this key, because if you forget it, you'll think we are judging reason itself, when in truth we are evaluating what history has made of it. Do you have the courage to continue? The path ahead is not safe, but it is necessary. Remember, whoever understands the mind from within is never the same again.